Watch a toddler figure out how a complex puzzle piece fits together. You are watching a brain actively decode the physical rules of the world. Humans are exceptional learning machines, yet the exact mechanics of how that knowledge actually forms inside the brain remain fiercely debated. The way you answer that question dictates how we raise our children, how we design school curriculums, and how we structure early education systems. To understand how we actually learn, we have to examine a deep divide between two giants of developmental psychology. First, there is Jean Piaget, known as the radical constructivist. He argued that a child learns from the inside out, driven by internal biological maturation. Opposing him is Lev Vygotsky, the social constructivist. He argued that learning happens from the outside in, driven by the community and the external environment. Do we build our minds independently through trial and error, or do we rely on social interaction to pull us forward? Let's look at the evidence. Piaget viewed the child as a little scientist. In his model, kids are actively running experiments on the world completely on their own. This illustrates assimilation. Seeing a white cat, a toddler forces that new animal into their existing folder for dog. But when that cat meows, physical evidence contradicts the theory. Piaget called the next step accommodation. The brain updates its framework, creating a brand new category. Vygotsky rejected the little scientist model. He viewed the child instead as a social apprentice. Instead of a solitary mind updating its own files, Vygotsky argued that knowledge is passed down. A child inherits a web of cultural understanding through shared experiences with the people around them. Round one is a clash of origins. Piaget sees an internal filing system updating itself. Vygotsky sees a cultural toolkit handed down from others. The second major conflict is about timing. For Piaget, development is a strict biological clock that must tick forward before learning can happen. You cannot force a 5-year-old to understand complex algebra. Their brain simply has not matured into the specific biological stage required to grasp the concept. This maps Vygotsky's zone of proximal development. The inner circle is what a child can do alone. The outer ring is what they achieve with guidance. To bridge the gap, a child relies on a more knowledgeable other for temporary scaffolding until they find balance. Piaget tells us we must wait for nature's biological readiness. Vygotsky shows us how social intervention accelerates that timeline. The clearest way to see this debate in action is to observe a child talking out loud to themselves while stacking a difficult block tower. Piaget observed this behavior and called it egocentric speech. He considered it a sign of cognitive immaturity, a side effect of a child who hasn't yet learned to see the world from anyone else's perspective. Vygotsky looked at the exact same behavior and called it private speech. To him, it was a highly effective cognitive tool. The child is actively using language to plan their next move, regulate their frustration, and guide their own physical actions. For Piaget, talking to yourself is a developmental glitch. For Vygotsky, it is the operating system booting up. So, after all that, who actually won the debate? Modern developmental psychology treats this as a necessary synthesis. Piaget accurately mapped the internal biological engine of the mind, and Vygotsky identified the social fuel required to run it. The most effective classrooms today use Piaget's biological stages to design challenges that are age-appropriate, but they rely on Vygotsky's scaffolding to help students actually conquer them. Think about your own life. Do you learn best by tinkering alone in a room like a little scientist, or do you need a community to pull you forward? Let us know in the comments.